with an intensive program of growth. There will be launched at least 9 more intensive programs of growth till WIS1 2009. And there is one in Austria, and I name them now. In Austria it's Vienna, in France Paris, and Aix-Marseille. In Germany, it's good, you see, so you are really on the move, that's great. In Germany, Rhineland. You know, Rhineland is a cluster where they decided on their own, even the auxiliary board members, they said, well, maybe, or for sure they can launch the WIS1, but we want just to let them go, and they decided they want to do it now in middle of February. So the friends at the last reflection meeting said, we are ready, we go ahead. Next is Munich in the southern part of Germany, which is really great. You know, as I'm more familiar with Germany, I can mention this, that Munich was still a cluster which was 1 year back, I think was quite behind, and they had a lot to do. But now they are, you know, it's all up to individuals, and to have a strong core group who is absolutely engaged and who is so much working together and supporting each other. And then by this, the others will just come. It's like a magnet, you know, that the others will be attracted and they will as well become engaged and they want to become part of it. You don't have to come to a friend and say, well, you should do it, you must do it. I think all these words we shouldn't use. It's a privilege to become part of it. And those who are moving forward, they do it in the way that they attract the others, and by this, they can make it. Then there will be 2 in Netherlands. It's North Holland. And it's East Netherlands. And did you think that Switzerland, which always we feel that Switzerland is, well, they take a long time, and you know, they are very, very special people, I would say. There will be 2. There will be Bern, the capital, and there will be Zurich cluster, which will launch the WIS1. But now I want to bring to your attention some other clusters who are about, you know, to launch at least during the year 2009, maybe 1 cycle after WIS1, maybe 2 cycles after WIS1. And I want to bring these clusters to your attention because you might wish to support the movement in these clusters, as well maybe in one of these clusters which I just mentioned. And if you want to support one of these clusters, please look in your list and go to the workshops of these clusters. If you feel that you can support them, and I will come back to in what kind you can support them, but it was already mentioned yesterday about mobile tutors, about being a resource person to participate or to coordinate a teaching campaign, or maybe even in one of the classes which I will mention now, to go as a home front pioneer, and I will come to home front pioneering in a few minutes. Now I will name you the clusters, please. Maybe you will note, if you feel that you can support one of these clusters, that you will go afterwards to the workshop of this cluster. So I start with Switzerland, it's Basel. Then it's don't clap now always, I think you can clap at the end, when I have the whole list, because otherwise we will waste so much time. Then it's Steiermark, Burgenland in Austria. In Germany there are 4, it's Hamburg, it's Stuttgart, it's Rheinhessen-Pfalz and Bremen-Oldenburg. They for sure will launch in this year and they need some more support. In Netherlands there are 2 more, Southwest Netherlands and Southeast Netherlands. You learned yesterday that they want to launch almost all the IPGs within this year. And France, there are as well quite a bunch. It's Lyon, Grenoble, Chamonix, Nîmes, Montpellier, Versailles, Toulouse, and then I have another cluster in another country in the Balkan. It's Kosovo, Pristina. And please allow me to mention two other clusters of whom I am quite familiar, that they are still so much in need of support. And these are two clusters in the former eastern part of Germany. It's Halle Leipzig and Dresden Chemnitz. If someone of you would be able to support this cluster, to be there for some time or even to pioneer, this would be just outstanding. So you see, we have now 18 already launched. 9 we will launch till this one. So this makes 27. So there are still 37 left which need to launch. And I have now 14, which I just mentioned to you, which will launch still in this year. So there is still in the last year quite a lot to do. When we looked from 37, it will be 22, which will still have to launch in the last year. And you see, we have to accelerate our activities. Otherwise, we will not make it. Of course, we have learned a lot from already launching the first ones, but we should never think, well, we can relax. This will never happen. And I will just tell you how it was when there was the first plan given by Shoghi Effendi to the Northern American community. This was from 1937 to 1944. And finally, they achieved all the goals which were given to them. And Shoghi Effendi sent a telegram to them. At the time, he didn't have any email. And he praised them in the highest words. And they were so happy about it, naturally. And they thought, well, now we have done our job and it's wonderful and we will just go move on somehow. But 2 weeks later, they received a letter from Shoghi Effendi when he said, now as you have achieved these goals, now you have gained so much more strength that you have to do much more now, and he gave them the next plan. So you see, there is never a point where we can really relax, so we have to move on and move on, but we will be able to move on with much more power, much more strength, as the community will grow substantially in the years ahead. And this is what we need. We need much more active supporters of spreading the faith to everyone. We need active supporters in the institutions. We need active supporters in the core activities, and there might come up more core activities. Who knows what the House of Justice will bring about to us in the next plan. There is never a real rest, but we know as soon as you rest, you will just go down. So it's good that we don't have possibility to rest. I want to share with you one example of a cluster, but first I want to come back just for a moment to Rhineland. Yesterday it was mentioned that there was the presentation of this story, that there were 8 who went through the whole sequence of courses. And I just want to point out that it was again an individual initiative, because it was one person first who said, well, I learned now